Welcome into today's podcast right here at the Cog Hill 40. Peaches wouldn't let Nugget into the canned ham for this episode, so here's Jason and Brooke. Johnny Carson didn't have nothing on these folks.
What is happening, Cog Squad? This is another episode of the Cogcast podcast coming at you from the hot Cog Hill 40. We got the air on max over here.
We do, but day before yesterday, we were wearing long socks.
Yes.
And pants and a sweatshirt and a long sleeve shirt.
We had 2 days of cool weather, which was really, really weird because it was like 4 days or 5 days straight of 85 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
And then it dropped. We had 2 days in the mid-40s.
Well, not for the high.
Not for the high.
Yeah.
But now it's back, and I saw it's going to be close to 90, like 2 or 3 days in a row coming up to.
Really?
Yeah, it's coming.
Wow.
It's coming.
It's coming. It's inevitable.
That Alabama heat is on the way.
But I must say that I went through, a little rain shower came through to bring that cold front through.
Yeah.
Well, prior to that, I had went through all of my long sleeve stuff because I've gotten to a point in the camper where I've accumulated some T-shirts that people have given me and things.
Yes, that's right.
And so that means my space has become tighter. Well, I'm not going to be in that camper come next winter.
Yes.
Right?
Fingers crossed.
So I decided that it would be a good idea for me to get my long sleeve stuff and put it out. So I had it all packed away in a laundry basket. Even your coveralls were
Even my coveralls.
in that laundry basket because I said, I'm not going to need it anymore.
Yep.
This was during that upper 80 span that we had. And lo and behold, that little rain shower brought some. The high was like 64 that day.
Yeah, it was.
And I had to get in that basket. Thank goodness I had not taken the plunge to the tiny house and put it upstairs yet because I had to get a sweatshirt.
Yeah, that would have been. We could have threw a jacket on, I guess, but it was kind of too hot for a jacket.
Yeah, right.
But it was too cool for a long sleeve shirt.
It was like I had a long sleeve shirt on, but that just didn't cut the mustard.
Yeah, it was one of the in between days, and then come lunchtime, you were shedding clothes.
That's right. But that basket's still sitting in the camper
to be put up.
But that's because we've been busy.
Man, have we been busy? Shoot, this may have been one of the busiest past 2 weeks I think we've had in a while, y'all. It has been from us being sick, you having a migraine.
I think that's what brought it all on.
To having the big weekend at Tracy's protege party, to the big day at Petals from the Past, and then it's been nonstop. The greenhouse, the fruit orchard, the grass, y'all. Man,
we don't want to talk about the grass.
We can't keep up. I told you that we may have to seriously look at investing in a nice zero turn to help complement the bush hog.
Yeah, just to cut around out by the road, which is what we call it, out by the road, right? Which is grass that runs the length of our property. It's really too small for the tractor.
Yeah, and then cutting in front of the in between the fruit orchards, which is fine, but I don't know, cutting around the house, cutting in front of the pastures. There's so much area that
it's hard to get up next to a fence with a bush hog. So I don't want to have to buy a lawnmower, but I know we're going to have to.
We're going to probably have to. I mean, we could get by like we are. It's just I just don't think we can keep up. If we had two of them, one of us could get on one, and the other could get on the other one.
Oh gosh, what am I going to choose?
We could definitely complement each other and knock it out.
That's right.
So that may be something we're looking in the near future about is that. And speaking of greenhouse, the greenhouse is up, y'all. If you don't know that already, I'm sure most of y'all do. The greenhouse is officially up, and it is awesome. Well, it is so awesome.
I think with the greenhouse being up, my state of mind this morning was a little bit at ease, feeling like we didn't have so much that we had to get done.
Yeah. Right.
You know what I mean.
I know what you mean. And plus the fruit orchard, it's done, pretty much. I say that. We still got to do the blackberries. We got to get those guys trellised too.
Yeah, but that's okay.
Speaking of, one of my blackberry plants died. It looked like something stepped on it.
Oh, no.
Yep. One on the end.
What stepped on it?
I don't know. Like it got broke off. And so I got to get it replaced. and then start on that trellis. That trellis won't be near as intensive as the fruit tree trellis that we had, but yeah, it broke off. So that's the really only thing left there, honestly, except me keeping it pruned. Of course, I need to, my organic spray, and I need to spray everything with neem oil either this evening or first thing in the morning. Just staying on top of that. But the fruit orchard that's out of the way, which was a big deal.
Okay, so the greenhouse is done.
Yes.
Which we stopped working on the purple pigeon palace.
Yes.
Because, as y'all know, what happened with our greenhouse, we had to have a solution.
Yeah, we had to have a solution.
And grower solution was the solution.
They were.
I didn't plan that either.
That was perfect.
But so we had to stop working on the purple pigeon palace because it's a little technical difficulty, but we are back.
We're back.
We were talking about having to stop working on the purple pigeon palace.
Purple pigeon palace.
In order to get the greenhouse problem solved.
Yes, that's right.
Okay, so if you follow us, which if you're listening to this, you probably do, you know that this is the first year that we're starting a flower farm. Okay, so without a greenhouse, we can't start any more flowers.
Yeah, we needed to get that. We needed to get that done. And so, because that's going to be a large part of our business here is that flower farm, and we really, really needed to get that going.
So it's not like the pigeons don't have a place to live.
Right. Because
they do. They have a place to live, and we actually built a little room on the front of the purple pigeon palace, which enables us to have a double door system, so there won't be any pigeons escaping.
That's right.
So we feel like we've come a long way with the purple pigeon palace. However, it is not complete.
Yeah, the aviary part's not complete. That part that
it had to be put on hold.
But we're fixing to get started on that.
We are,
yes.
But I have read so many questions that have asked, what about the purple pigeon palace? Honestly, we would need 6 more people to complete what we have done in this past couple of weeks.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. It would. And I think a lot of people don't realize how much time it takes for us to do the channel itself. The channel is 3 videos a week. Then the podcast is 2 videos a week. So that's 5 days pretty much right there.
But that doesn't mean we have 2 days off.
No, because we're filming for the next video on those off days. So yeah, it's a plate full. So we have to work all that together.
And I know that our audience understands that.
Yep.
But I just wanted to put that out there so you'll know what's going on with we haven't stopped it, but we had a little too many irons in the fire at one time.
Yes.
And we know that, and there was nothing we could do about it.
Well, the thing is that the fruit orchard was 90% done.
Right.
The greenhouse, which took us probably roughly 4 to 5 days to complete, and it was, at one point 90% done. And I told you, I said, we're going to knock both these things out before we do anything else. And we did.
You know what?
We did. What's that?
I cannot imagine us trying to build the house ourselves.
Oh, man. I don't even want to think about it.
We wouldn't have the first stick of lumber up inside.
No.
Not the first stick, because we couldn't have stopped working on these projects to go inside our house when this was started.
It'd have been impossible. Absolutely impossible.
We, I feel like we're on the right track. I
agree.
Really do. I feel like we're on the road to marking off those, checklist and
I agree.
Getting things done. And
I agree 100%. We're good now. This was a big relief. Is this right here? And the next thing that I say this is one of the questions in here too. It's all going to tie together because we're going to answer some of you guys' questions today. Was that the fruit orchard is really not 100% complete because we need to put the mulch down and we need to get the rocks down. Well, we ordered an 18-wheeler load of mulch.
March the 8th.
We've bought this before, and it came in, and it was wonderful. And buying it in bulk like this, oh gosh, I forget. It's like compared to buying in the bags, it's like 25 cents a bag or something crazy. It is a big cost up front, but when you're buying it mulched by bags, this is huge savings, and that's why we did it. And we used it, and we've used it all up.
Yes, and it's not like that it's going to go to waste.
Right.
If we have extra. We can just leave it in a pile, kind of tucked neatly on the back side of the property, And so that's why we don't think we're going to use an 18-wheeler load this time, but we need it for future.
Right, and then it would save us a lot of money if we buy it in bulk like this. So you ordered some more, and this was for the fruit orchard, and this is for the front entrance. And we wanted to go ahead and get the mulch put in the front entrance so we could put the, we're going to buy some curbing to go around the beds. Then we're going to put sod down, and we didn't want to be driving over our sod, putting the mulch in. And so we've been waiting on the mulch. Well, when we called, everything seemed hunky-dory. Matter of fact, he was going to bring it to us that week.
Depending on what the rain did
But we
week.
had just back-to-back weeks of just pure rain.
So I called at the beginning, well, it's probably end of March.
Yeah.
End of March. And he said, Brooke, I still have you on the list. I hadn't forgot about you. And I said, okay, that's all I needed to know. Quick conversation.
Yeah.
That's all I wanted to know.
That's all we wanted to know.
All right. So here it is, the end of April. And
Still
I
no
still
mulch.
hadn't heard. And so I hate to bother somebody, but then again, we're kind of on hold with
Yes.
one of our fires that's burning that needs to be put out.
Absolutely.
And so I called, and he said, I know you don't want to hear this, but we are having a hard time getting pine bark.
And I just blew my mind. I just like, really?
He said, did you hear that call I just took? Because he didn't put me on hold and play some music. This is just a small operation. He let me hear the conversation that was going on, and it was a truck driver, and he had a load of pine bark mulch. And his wife had some health problems, so he had been unable to deliver the pine bark, and he asked the owner, he said, can I bring you that load today? And the owner was like, yes, sir, you sure can. Well, obviously, he had previous commitments prior to me
For us.
that he had to fulfill. And
That's
he
right.
said, Brooke, he said, I tell you, I honestly don't know when I'm going to get to you. He said, I tell you what. He said, all I can tell you is I'll give you a call.
Yeah.
As soon as I have it available, I'll give you a call and see if you still need it. And I hung up, and I thought, and I was like, you know what? We could use pine straw at the entrance.
Yeah, I guess we could use pine straw.
We
at the
can
entrance.
use pine straw
For
at the
now.
entrance for now. Get that part taken care of.
Yeah.
Because we can get pine straw local.
Yes.
And if he calls me, when he calls me, if he calls me, we can still get him to bring it and pile it up and finish the fruit orchard and whatever else we got to do.
Yeah.
So I think that may be a solution.
That may be a good
You and I
solution.
haven't even talked about it because
No, and then we won't need the driving the tractor because we're thinking about go ahead and getting the sod and go ahead and getting that put out. And that way we won't have to worry about driving the tractor over it to get the
mulch put out.
mulch put out. We can do that by hand.
But I almost think that the pine straw might look better because it's going to break it up some.
It might look better.
Color will be broke up.
Yeah.
You know, we don't want to put pea gravel in the beds with the plants, with the grasses.
Yes.
Grasses meaning not the green grass, but the
Right.
natural.
And we need
just
some
don't-
more plants too. We're way short on plants.
We are.
Yeah.
And, you know, we want to get those in the ground as soon as possible,
as soon
too.
as possible because it's getting really hot outside, and I've been watering them in the pots.
Kind of like Alabama rule of thumb is you need to be planted in the ground by June the 1st.
Yeah.
Because if not, you're going to be dragging a water hose and you're going to wear yourself out,
Yep.
and then your plants still might not make it.
Right. And I may put in a little drip irrigation out there. It wouldn't be that hard.
So, we're talking live thoughts right here,
Yeah.
live on the air.
Live.
I'm
I'll say
thinking-
live on the air.
Well, you know what I mean.
Yeah.
Just our thoughts have never
Because
come
that was one of the
across.
questions. Somebody wanted to know were our podcast live because they felt like they were missing them in the
No.
live version of it, and they're not live.
They're not live, but they're a couple hours delayed because all you do is download it or upload it or whatever, and there it goes.
There
So
it
it might
goes.
as well be live.
Right.
2-hour delay or something
2-hour
like
delay.
that. If y'all see me looking down, it's not because I'm ignoring you. I'm trying to make sure our cabinet guy hasn't messaged me, and somebody about your eye doctor.
Okay.
Cabinet guy's supposed to come today to take final measurements
Right.
on our house, and I'm just continuously checking because I don't want to miss him.
Don't want to miss him. Air conditioning guy came by today.
He did.
Had to work that out. That was probably more confusing and more complicated than expected
Well,
because the way our house is set up and because it's all open. Everything's open, and the loft kind of threw a curveball because the loft's way bigger now than we anticipated, and so, but they got it figured out.
and a lot of people didn't realize when we went over the video of having the loft that we will have air conditioning in our loft.
Yes.
A lot of people thought that it was just going to be open and there wouldn't be any vents for heating or cooling up there, and it will be heated
There will-
and cooled.
That's right.
And we didn't say that because we just thought it was understood. But that's how we roll.
Yep.
Alabama, you couldn't have a loft and not have air
AC
conditioner
in it. Yeah.
You'd burn up.
The heat wouldn't be that big of a deal, but air conditioning would be.
You would not want to go up there.
You would not want to go up there at all.
So we're going to get some fires put out, and I've got a contact for some pine straw that's actually right near
great.
here. So I'm thinking I might go ahead and reach out to him.
Yeah,
and
so we can get that. We can knock the front out, and that'll be another thing that's
knock
out of the
the
way.
front out.
Yes.
And yes, we do admit we had too many things going at one time, but y'all, the way things fell, we didn't have any choice.
Yeah. That's
So-
right. Well, when we started the front, we thought we could get it done in a couple of weeks because we didn't know the mulch was going to be on back order,
Yeah.
and we didn't know the greenhouse was going to come through.
You're right.
So, it is what it is.
Oh, I was thinking of something. I thought I was jumping the gun by going ahead and contacting the AC guy to tell him to come and look.
Yeah.
And see
Right,
what I said.
right.
We got interior walls up. You want to come take a look and see what we need? Well, he got here, and today is Thursday.
Mm-hmm.
He told us when he got here that prices go up 10% Saturday.
This weekend. Yes.
And so I was like, "Well, do you think you could get us a price in before Saturday?"
And he said he would.
He said, "Yes, ma'am. I'm going to go home and do some figuring right now
And let us know.
and let us know
And if we're not sticker shocked, we'll,
get him to
give
go ahead
him
and
go
order it.
okay and go ahead and order the big stuff so we can save that 10%.
Save that 10%. And that was on the unit itself.
Yep.
The unit and the air handler, I guess you call it.
Yep, that's
It's
right.
a two-part system.
Two-part system.
So we're not worried about the duct work or anything like that because that's minimal cost. But the big thing is the unit itself. And some of y'all even ask, what was that big metal thing sitting out behind my mama's house?
I showed that in a video, but I can't remember which one it was.
Well, it's the air conditioner.
Air conditioner.
That's it's actually called a heat pump, and it puts out heat and air.
That's right.
And we've never had a heat pump before because
Never
we
had
always
one.
had natural gas lines running to our
Yep.
house. Hey, that was a text. We don't have natural gas here. If we had gas heat, it would have to come from a propane tank. And we just decided to go the heat pump route. So that's what we'll have installed. And that's what that big metal thing was sitting out behind Mom's house. And we'll have the same thing.
We'll have the same thing. Ours will be actually bigger than hers. Yep.
It will be. But
Yep. And then our generator's going to go right beside it.
so I'm so glad that we did go ahead and contact him because
Yes.
first of all, we wouldn't save that 10%. And second of all, he said there's some things that they can go ahead and get started on.
Yes, right.
If we give them the go.
Yes.
So, we're moving along. We still got plumbing and electrical to be done before spray foam. And soon as those two things are done, then our house will be metaled up all the way around
That's
by
right.
that time.
That's right. That was actually the plumber that just texted me.
Oh, really? What
Yeah.
is he coming?
He's coming. Said he had an emergency in Wetumpka this morning. Had to unclog some sewer lines.
Is he coming today or
Let's
tomorrow?
see here. He ended up having to dig. He's gonna come here tomorrow.
Okay.
No, he said I got a couple of jobs that were scheduled tomorrow, but I want to see when they're planning to spray the foam in the interior walls. Okay, he's wanting to know.
Okay, so we
we're
can
good.
message him
I'll
as
message
soon
him
as
when we're through.
Yeah, they want to spray as soon as possible, but we got to do plumbing and electrical first.
That's
so
right.
I feel like so much has gotten accomplished. I really do. I felt like I could breathe a little this morning,
Yep.
and
I could too.
the greenhouse being up is a big part of it.
It was a big part of it. Yep. It was a big part of it. And getting a lot of grass cut probably made you feel good too.
Oh my goodness! Mama told me after I had cut, I was trying to figure out how many acres I cut yesterday.
Uh-huh.
And I think in my mind, I have a figure that I cut 7 acres yesterday.
You could have. I was telling you, we got two cutters. We got the bush hog and you got the finishing cutter. And to me, the finishing cutter looks better, but that bush hog is way faster.
Well, here's the deal. Okay, so the bush hog has those big old heavy duty blades on it.
Yeah.
So I can run the motor up a little bit higher and go into second
Yeah.
gear versus first gear. The finishing mower has those 3 like lawnmower blades on it that cut real fine and they cut like a lawnmower. So you can't go very fast because it puts it in a bind
I
kind
got
of.
you.
So I can go a lot faster.
Yeah, you did a number yesterday on the fields.
I did. And
Yeah.
not only did I cut grass yesterday, I went to a doctor's appointment in Birmingham.
Yeah, because you didn't get back until late.
It was about 4 o'clock when I got back. And as soon as I got back, I changed my clothes and I was on that bush hog.
You were.
My mama, what did I have to do? Oh, I had cut a little bit of grass and I went to her and asked her to put something in her oven. And she said, "You scared me to death." And I said, why? And she said, because I didn't know you were back yet. And I said, Mama, I've been cutting grass. And she said, well, I didn't know it. But my point was she said, Brooke, why don't you break your... This was funny. Why don't you break your grass cutting up into 2 days?
Yeah.
I said, Mama, I've already got it broken up into 3 days.
You do.
I think she thought I tried to do it all yesterday.
Yesterday, yeah.
She didn't realize that I didn't.
And I guess because you cut so much yesterday, she thought maybe you tried to do it all yesterday or something. I don't know.
I wish
because you got a lot more. You got a lot more to cut.
I cut a lot more to cut, and there's one section that I have not cut this year.
Is that on the?
It's down in that low part.
Yeah. I know what you're talking about.
I have never cut that this year.
And I say go ahead and cut that backside.
Yeah, I guess so too, because it's going to be back up by the time we move the cows.
And the more I think about it, the more I'm thinking about just extending what we got on back.
Yeah.
All the paddocks.
That's a good idea.
And then moving all the shelters to the back.
That's a good idea, because it would create, I won't say an eyesore, but it's not visually appealing to me to look at all the shelters right in the front of our house.
Right.
So, yes, I think that would be an awesome idea, and, something we can work towards.
Yep, I think that's what we're going to do.
And it doesn't have to be immediately, because...
I think that's what we're going to do. Plus, we got so many areas that we can put the cows, and we got a little surprise for y'all about the cows and pasture areas in the next video, which will be on... Tomorrow. So stay tuned for that video tomorrow, and you'll see what happened here. So we got a solution that's a pretty good little solution that seems to be working so far. I mean, so we'll see how that goes. But I'm more I think about it, it would be so easy too, bro. We don't have to worry about doing this. We can do one section at a time.
That's right. And we can keep that long fence in there, and we can even divide it if we want to. Put a gate in there.
Put a gate in there. If we want to rotate them, we can, or we can just leave it open.
I love cutting grass, by the way.
I know you do.
Sorry to interrupt you, but...
So anyways, that's something I thought about that I was going to bring up to you.
Yes, I think that's a great idea. I'm actually very excited to hear that, because I think that would be wonderful.
Yeah, I think that'll be best, and then we could just move everything over there.
Right. And
there's some trees over there, and so I think that'd be best.
Yeah, it would offer shade for all the animals if we can fence it back far enough.
Right. And then we can put a permanent shelter for Moody.
Right.
And whatever needs to be done, we can do it.
That's right.
Yep.
I just I tell you, I went through a week or two there where I was just feeling overwhelmed.
Yeah, I was too.
And
we had a lot going on. We had way too much going on.
We did.
And the relief of the Petals event too, being out of the way was good. Even though I'm telling you, that was...
It was awesome.
I loved the Protege party.
I wish I could have gone to that.
I loved the Petals event. So, and speaking of the Petals event, that was one of our questions. I got a couple of questions here. Other thing was, how often does Petals have events? And they have several throughout the year. Now, the Antiques in the Garden that we went to, where the meet and greet is only one time a year.
Right.
And it's always in April.
Right.
They got
I asked Jason, as a matter of fact, I said, is the Antiques in the Garden always on what was the date, the 23rd?
I can't remember.
And he said no, actually last year it was the week prior, and he said that there was bad weather and they actually had to cancel the Saturday part of it. So he said it's either of those 2 weekends.
Right. In April. And then they got a Mother's Day brunch that's coming up in May.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yep, they always had that one every year.
I knew they had the Blackberry Festival that was about that time. The Blackberry and Blueberry
Festival, which is coming up. They usually have that. Then I think it kind of dies off a little bit.
Well, it gets hot.
It gets hot, but they do have classes throughout the year, and most of them are free. But if you go to the website, go to the events, and it'll show you what they have going on over there. I know they have, of course, I've gone to the Rose class. They have a lot of children's classes. They got an herb class coming up that I was going to ask Tracy about. They have fruit trees, just
something
tons of things going on over there. So just go to their website, Petals from the Past, and go to the event section, and they usually have it all right there. So the other thing was that will we be at the Oklahoma or the Okie Expo next year? We will. We are locked in. It's the first, like June 1st, 2nd, and 3rd.
And I'm driving my car.
We're going to drive. So We will be there next year for that. Matter of fact, that will be on our anniversary, June the 3rd.
June the 3rd. We don't ever do anything fancy, so it's just another day of us enjoying one of
That's
360.
Right. Oh, headbutt.
I hope they couldn't hear that in the microphone. One of our 365 days a
That's
year
right.
together, so it's just another day that we enjoy and never any special event, but however, this will make it special.
This will. We may go out to eat or something.
Wow, that would be amazing.
And, of course, if you go to our website, coghillfarm.com, there we got an event section there, too, where it shows where we're speaking. And we got one coming up in October. I think it's the end of October.
Uh-huh.
It's in Milton, Florida.
Right.
And it's a homesteading event there.
And we went last year.
We went last year. That was the first one we've ever done.
First one we ever
Yep.
did. And we really didn't know what to expect.
We did not.
But, that was just such an eye-opener for me to realize
Huge eye-opener.
how loyal people that follow us are.
Yes.
And how much I enjoy meeting everybody.
I agree 100%. What was funny is that one of our viewers that came up to me during the thing and at Pedals and said, does this really make you nervous, but talking, because I've mentioned before that I'm really introverted, and I said, you know what, this does not bother me that much. He said,
You should have said, Brooke doesn't ever shut up, so it doesn't bother me.
it doesn't, but now going to the bank teller or going to do a drive-through bothers me, and I don't know why. It's crazy. Just like I really struggled yesterday, but I was bound and determined that I was going to go do it, and that was going to go get some seed starting mix yesterday.
Yes.
Me and Marycarl.
And I was at the doctor
You
in
were at the
Birmingham.
doctor.
I got a text from Jason. He said, I think Marycarl and I are going to start some seeds this afternoon,
Yes.
and we're going to go get some seed starter. And my response was, okay. But I'm thinking to myself, wonder where they're going, wonder what they're doing, wonder how they're doing this, wonder what's going to happen. And it went well.
It went well.
It went well.
It went well. So no problem there. But on speaking to the fans and the viewers and our family and whatever y'all want to be called, the Cog Squad, I have no issues whatsoever, and I thoroughly enjoy it. And I don't
think it
know
was
why.
just
It's
meant to be.
I guess so.
That's
I
what I
guess so.
feel like. Because I tell you what I have an issue with.
What's that?
This is the nuttiest thing on the planet Earth. And I also had people say that they couldn't put their life out there like we do.
Uh-huh.
Well, I'm just not a private person.
Right.
I don't do anything that should be private. So
It's true.
everything's public.
Yeah.
But I have a problem, and I always have, with people coming to my place.
Yeah, you do.
And-
you really do. And what really and that feeds off me because it makes me anxious
I don't
and nervous
see that it makes you anxious.
because I know that you're upset about it. And so I'm
Y'all,
like,
I don't know why. I do not know why, but it has always been that way. I want everything to be in order. I see
your mom's
junk.
the same way.
I think I get it genetically.
Your mom is the same way, and you probably saw it growing up,
I
and so it
did.
just come off on you.
I did.
Yep.
And look, every time somebody says they want to come by here or something, I just get all I don't know. I just get
Yeah.
bent out of shape, and everything makes us all tick differently. But this is what happened. So our friends Maul and Paul
Yes.
from Maul and Paul Kettle Corn
Yes.
in Oklahoma
Yes.
came down, and we actually coerced them into
We did.
coming down and being a vendor to sell kettle corn and cheesecake at the
That's
Petals
right.
from the Past
And if
event.
y'all were at the Oakley Homestead Expo, y'all probably saw them. And they're the ones that sold Chad Doss from Adler Farm
His land.
his new land.
That's right.
Yes,
And so we met them. Well, they sent us some kettle corn, a bag of kettle corn.
they did.
And it was for a mail opening. And it said something on the outside to indicate it was food.
Right.
And so Jason opened it and brought it up to the house. It was when we
I
were
did.
first starting on working on
did.
houses. And he said, hey, Brooke, somebody sent you some popcorn. And he already had it open, and he was eating a little bit of it. And I said, oh, really? So I started trying it, and I ate the entire bag while we were outside looking at the house, which was like 10 minutes. I ate the whole bag.
Yeah.
'Cause I'm a popcorn freak.
Right. It's good.
It was great.
Kettle corn's so good.
So I then found out that they would be at the Okie homesteading because I
Yes.
told Jason, I said, we have got to thank these people for sending this popcorn, this kettle corn. It was awesome.
Mhm.
He said, well, it said in the note that they're going to be at the Okie homestead
That's right.
event. So we got to meet them for the first time in person at the Okie homestead. And it was just, y'all, they are super people. Mr. Aaron and Miss Faye.
They are super, super people.
Super, super wonderful people. I feel like, not only do I feel like they are just like us, most of the people that we meet are just like-minded, just like us.
Right.
And I think that makes it so much easier to be comfortable around you.
I guess so. I guess so.
After meeting them in person and them fixing us up with some kettle corn to come home from Oklahoma with,
Mhm.
and our sweet friends from Chestnut Hills Farmstead brought it home for us, so
That's
we wouldn't have
right.
to put it on the plane. I sent them a email and told them that Petals from the Past was looking for vendors,
Yes.
and if they were up for a trip to Alabama, that we would love to have them.
Right.
And they made a short joke about, if we can come see your farm, then we will. And I was like, okay, sure. So they came to Petals from the Past from Oklahoma and sold kettle corn. And on their last day, they wanted to meet us and give us some kettle corn because, they had it saved for us and we weren't able to get together at the end of the event. And I said, look, I don't want to put y'all out, but you don't have to meet us anywhere. If y'all want to come here, you're more than welcome to.
Right.
That was outside my comfort zone because I just don't do well with people coming here. It was that day, so I didn't
Yeah,
have time
yeah.
to get worked up about it. Well, they came,
They did.
and it was wonderful.
It was wonderful.
But we hope y'all understand that we can't have just visitors come. We can't open the farm to a petting zoo or a school or
Yeah. Number one is insurance. We've been told by the insurance companies that it's a big no-no.
that's a big no-no.
Big no-no because if somebody was to come over here, slip, fall, whatever.
It sounds crazy,
It
but that's
does
what the
sound
world
crazy.
has come to.
It does sound crazy, and we know that 99% of everybody are awesome folks. But we just anything can happen, especially because we got animals here. Somebody was to reach in and Moody sling his head, and they snap their wrist.
Yeah.
Anything could happen. So we have to be very, very careful about that kind of thing. And
Otherwise, we would have gates open and say all are welcome because
that too, and we still have to film, edit, work the farm.
that's another thing.
Yeah, we don't have time.
We don't have time.
We really don't.
And Miss Faye and Mr. Aaron are so understanding
Yeah.
of
Oh, yeah,
everything.
yeah,
and
yeah.
They weren't going to stay but a minute. And
Right.
I'm so glad that I was able to
Right.
work that out to where they could come.
Yeah.
But they'll be at the Oakley event
They will.
in June.
They will. They will be at the event in June. The other thing that I wanted to bring up was a lot of people asked us or have been asking, are we going to be at the Homesteaders of America conference this year? And right now it is a 50-50 on that. I'm leaning towards that we are, but I don't want to put that out there until I know 100%
Right.
that we are. But I think we are.
We need to make sure our house is going to be
Yes.
in order. We need to make sure that we can have somebody take care
Because
of the
that'll be
animals.
2 events in October.
That's getting
Yeah.
on up there for us. We usually don't leave the farm.
Yeah, we usually don't leave the farm.
So for us to
Yeah.
go to 2 events in 1 month,
Right.
I offered to drive everybody
Yes.
to the Homestead of America, and I say that being Cattywampus Acres, the Naked Hog, Just Dig It, Head Family Farm,
And Hoss Tools.
and Hall's Tools.
Yes.
I offered to rent a 25-passenger van
Yes.
and me drive every one of these crazy fools
We call it the tour bus.
to Virginia.
and everybody was so happy
Oh, my
and
gosh.
giddy about this idea. So if we do go to Homesteaders of America conference, that's probably what we're going to do is have the tour.
Well,
the
I kept
tour bus.
asking them, are sure they're not going to be any more than 25 because I need to get my CDL if so. If I've got to drive a big bus, then I got to have a CDL.
Oh,
so let
gosh.
me know ahead of time.
Yeah.
And they all thought that was funny.
Everybody
But
thought it was funny.
I was serious. I'm driving. I mean, I don't mind driving. I
Yeah.
just can't take that. I don't know what happened to me on that flight, but I'm not doing it anytime soon. So
And everybody we talked to this drove from here or in this area from the south to the Virginia where the Homesteaders of America conference is, it said it's a beautiful drive.
Oh, I think it would be wonderful. I think it would be a trip to remember.
Yes, and the Oklahoma drive, the Okie conference. I had two people tell me that it's interstate the whole way.
I don't mind. I just don't mind.
That you get on there and you just put it on cruise and you go.
And one thing that eases my mind about travel now is that Marycarl travels so well.
She does. She really, really does.
We went through that time just probably like everybody else has when she didn't travel well.
Yeah.
And it was just, are we there yet? Are we there yet?
How much longer?
But now she occupies her mind and she does well.
She never even asks.
She never asks.
She hardly ever asks.
And if she was with that group of bunch of folks that I was mentioning,
she would have a good time.
She'd be fine.
Yep.
So.
She would have a really good time.
Not to say she wouldn't have a good time with Mom and Daddy, but that would just be a little added.
Well, she loves, and I know she loves talking to Jacqueline about eggs and genetics. And
little Eleanor's just the icing on the cake.
And she loves talking to Tracy about
plants and medicinal.
Especially medicinal plants and native plants. So those things pique her interest, and as long as they'll sit there and talk to her, Marycarl will ask them tons of questions.
Yeah. Well, I know that all of y'all are probably going to say, "Oh no, she had to go to Birmingham to the doctor." I probably need to clarify that because it's kind of like opening something and not respond.
Yeah, I didn't
but
think
anyway,
about that.
I had a little spot that was kind of like a little freckle, I guess you would say, sun spot on my shoulder back here that never gets sun. That spot never gets exposed. I'm not a tank top girl, so. And
you don't walk around here topless.
Well, I do sometimes, but I'm just kidding. You lost me. So when I went to my annual GYN appointment, I had showed it to Jason one time because it was itching.
Yeah.
And when I showed it to him, he said immediately, "You need to get that checked out."
You need to get checked out.
Well, I just don't think too much of things. I'm just kind of forget it, you know. But when he said that, I said, "Well, I'm going to show it to the gynecologist, for lack of better term." That's what they are.
Yeah.
I said, "I'm going to show it to her," and I did. And she said, She said, "Doesn't look like anything to me, but I'm not a dermatologist, so I say let's just make an appointment to be sure and get it checked out." So I said, "Okay, that's fine." So I see a doctor at UAB, which is University of Alabama at Birmingham, and I've been seeing that doctor since before Marycarl was born.
That's right.
So she referred me to somebody in that group, which obviously is in Birmingham. So yesterday, Marycarl was going to go with me. I had an appointment at 10:45 and knew I was going to Birmingham, but she was going with me, and she woke up and decided she didn't want to go with me. So that was my first trip in 12 years by myself.
Yes.
So I went up to Birmingham by myself and had the spot checked on, and it's perfectly fine.
Yes.
There was she looked at it and took literally 3 minutes and said there's nothing wrong with it. It's absolutely fine. And I said, "Okay, look, some people have expressed concern about this little spot on my face, which kind of looks like the one that's on my back."
Mm-hmm.
And she said, "Absolutely fine. So y'all put your worries at ease."
That's right.
I wear my hat, I put my sunscreen on, and I am aware of what can happen.
And I'm a bad husband for not getting you a bonnet for your tractor yet.
Well, that's okay, because I wear a bonnet on my head and I wear sunscreen. So, I was literally there 3 minutes, and that's okay, because it's better to be safe than sorry. And so I didn't know what to do with myself running around Birmingham alone, but I made it there and back with a few stops in between.
And had a good time.
And had a good time. And
me and Marycarl had a good time because we went seed starting mix shopping.
That's
and
right.
Started seeds.
Well, I just didn't want to leave without saying why did she have to go to the doctor or something wrong.
I'm glad you did, because that would have been question after question, so I didn't think nothing about it.
I'm one of those people that doesn't like to read when somebody states something and doesn't finish it.
Right.
So I don't want to do that myself.
Get into some more of the questions here that we have.
We'll do this one. I want to talk about this one.
The nuke or the nook. Boy, we stirred up a hornet's nest with that one, didn't we?
We sure did.
Number one, y'all know, most of y'all know, the way I talk and the way I can't pronounce words and how southern I am and my accent, I think is actually kind of part of the channel, and because it's me. And I don't hide the fact that I don't say things right and I can't say things right. So, and I don't edit it out.
That's right. I used to kind of feel like I needed to make sure my speech was correct
Yes,
and my
me
words
too.
were in
Me
order.
too.
And y'all, I'm so over it because
It's not who we are.
it's just us.
It's not who we are. And so I called it a nook, the small beehive, a nook. And I've always called it that. And everybody that I know that are bee people that here in the South, as far as I know, now I haven't asked Tanya, and I swear she said she was bringing nooks over here.
Well, she typed it. So.
Okay, maybe not then.
Yeah.
Anyways, they've always called them nooks, or I'm assuming they called them nooks. And so we brought it up. Well, somebody brought it up that they're not called nooks; they're called nukes, and which sounded odd to me. I guess because I've always heard it as nook, but me saying nook sounds odd to the people that say nukes. And so it came a big debate, and actually, it looked like it was 50-50 in the comment section. That 50% of the people said they call it a nuke.
Well,
And the other 50% said they called it a nook.
I feel like those that call it a nuke,
Uh-huh.
they mean business.
Yeah.
It is a nuke.
Yeah, they seemed
But-
like they was really on me pretty hard.
But the ones that say nook are like, I don't care if you say nook or nuke, but I say it nook.
I say it nook.
So,
I've always called
but
it
if you
nooks.
say it nuke, I mean, by gosh, you better not call it a nook.
Well, I do think it's one of those things that's kind of like I said it in the other
pecan and pecan.
pecan and pecans.
Yeah.
Because usually the pecan people don't care if you call it a pecan.
That's right.
But the pecan people seem to be really hardcore about it being called pecan and not pecan.
But guess what?
What?
We don't care.
We don't care one bit.
You
so,
know what we're talking about. So what difference does it make?
So I'm going to tell y'all, if you're a nuke person,
You better look out. That's all I can say.
Chances are of me calling them nukes are going to be hard for me to do because I've called them a nook my entire life.
That's
so
right.
I think that's just how it's going to be. I think that's how it's going to be. But it was funny. It was funny. The comment section really we got tickled at it. We
Oh,
really
yes,
did
we
get
did.
tickled at it. The doggy door that people want to know where we're going to have a fenced-in area when the dogs go out, that they'll be safe and they won't be running around the whole 40. And we will. We're going to have them a little fenced-in area.
Yes.
It's going to be just theirs only.
And Brant
Yep.
put the doggy door in today.
He
so
did put it in today.
the part that goes into the house, into the metal, into the framework
Yes.
is in. So I might let Gedge try it out.
Man, let's get you try it out. That's right.
You're going to be on the other side to
I
hold
will.
her.
I'll call her.
She didn't come to her name.
She just goes.
She just goes.
Yeah.
And she doesn't go just a
She-
little. She goes like a nuke.
Yeah, like a nuke. When she listens to you when you're in the camper or in the house or whatever, but when she's out, she puts the earmuffs on or headphones on and cuts the volume up because she
does.
does not listen to you one bit.
But it's almost like when she's got her energy out as to what she was out to accomplish,
Yeah.
she slows down.
Maybe so.
If I call one of the other dogs, that's the way I get her back.
Is it?
If we're outside and she's doing her running
Mhm.
and I'm trying to catch her and I say, "Come here, Sonny. Come here, Sonny," she gets a little bit jealous and she comes straight to me because she don't want me loving
She
on
don't want you
anybody
loving
else.
on another dog.
That's right.
That's funny.
Maybe I should start saying, "Come here, Jason. Come
There you
here."
go. Concrete or gravel driveway?
Don't know.
Don't know really. I think it's probably going to be a mixture of both. I think it's going to be gravel, and then we get closer to the house, it may turn into concrete. We'll see. We haven't gotten that far yet.
And funds, we need to see where
that
we are
too.
money wise.
Yeah,
And
that too. Because
concrete ain't cheap, and gravel is cheap.
Yep.
So we'll see.
This was a good question. Which fruit are we most excited about to try in the fruit orchard?
Well, I'm gonna tell you what mine is.
Well, the person that asked this said that she figured that Brooks would be the figs because they would be freeze dried.
Right, they were right.
Me, my first thoughts were one of the Asian pears was my first thought, but then I really, really excited about the apples because I've never grown apples before.
That's true. I hadn't thought of it that way.
So I'm kind of torn, but I'm thinking I'm going to say one of the apples. I don't know which one. The Arkansas Black is one that I'm really curious about because that's one of the coolest looking apples there is because it is a deep burgundy, blackish purple color. They're just super cool. But I know that taste-wise, that probably the Golden Delicious or Fuji's probably going to be the best.
I just can't get my mind around the fact that one day we're going to have not just one or two pears or apples. We're going to have a bunch.
Yeah, we're going to have a bunch.
I can't understand that. Does that make sense?
It makes sense because we've never been able to grow fruit trees.
Right.
So we don't really know
So I
except
can't see
our
that.
fig.
Yeah,
Yeah.
except for a fig. But I feel like anybody can grow a fig.
Yeah.
You know?
Especially in the South, figs are easy to grow.
Figs are so easy.
They're so easy to grow. I had, matter of fact, somebody at the meet and greet asked me a fig question and said that their fig didn't look that good. And
I remember it
all
froze.
All its leaves were gone, and they think it was dead. And I told them, no, it loses its deciduous because it's going to lose all its leaves in the wintertime. And then when this heat spell starts coming in and the warmer weather comes, you should have no problem, and it should start just coming on out. And I told them, once a fig gets established, you could cut it with a chainsaw.
Well, my response to them was when I lived in town with my parents growing up, we had 3 fig trees in the back of our property. And in the winter, they lost their leaves, and so they weren't very pretty. Well, I maintained our yard. I cut the grass. I did the weed eating, the blowing, and all that stuff because I enjoyed it and still do. But I would cut those fig trees back just because they were ugly to me, and they got so big and unruly. And the next year, they were just as big, if not bigger, than they were the year before.
That's how figs are.
So you just about can't hurt them.
No. Once they get established, they're pretty locked in.
I wonder what they look like now.
I don't know. That's a good question.
I wonder if they put something on them to stunt their growth or if they're still there.
I have no idea.
Meaning poison.
Some
people don't want.
Yeah, some people don't want figs. When does the storm shelter come? Let's see. I'm guessing now we're about
either 3 to 5 weeks
3
away.
to 5 weeks away. Yep.
Because it was 4 to 6.
Yep.
So
yep.
3 to 5.
When will we start our potager garden? When the house gets finished.
Well, Greg's got to do the septic tank, and that's going back there.
Oh, we got to dig the trench for the electrical, and that's going back there. So
it's got to do that
the gas.
first.
So it's a lot going on before we start the potager
garden.
It
is.
Yep. Meal time.
I feel so bad.
We do feel bad about the meal time, and we've also been discussing it because y'all, the whole meal time thing got is bigger than we anticipated. We thought that the meal time would be great because instead of us writing thank you letters, all the time, that we could just do the meal time and tell everybody thank you in the mealtime video. But it's just gotten overwhelming, and
we don't know when we're going to do it because we just don't have time.
It took up way more time than we anticipated.
But we do realize that we have to do the one that has packages in the barn awaiting us.
Yes.
And I told somebody the other day, I said, next rainy day. Well, that little rain that came through with the cooler weather wasn't enough to stop us from working on the greenhouse.
No, it wasn't. It didn't even hardly rain.
So we will do it as soon as we can. But please understand that it's not that we don't appreciate everything everybody has ever sent. We don't have time.
Yeah, it is a time thing. It is. It's just gotten overwhelming, keeping up with everything. And then the other thing is that people are sending us messages and emails. Did you get our package?
My gift?
Did you get our gift? Did you get our gift? Did you get our package? And we have to open everything as soon as we get it, and then write down who sent it to us. And then when they ask us, it's just
there's no way to keep up with it.
It is hard. Yeah, we almost feel like I have to hire somebody to keep up with it.
Yeah.
It is just. I was not anticipating. I thought it was going to be easier. That was the whole reason that we did mail time. I thought this would be way easier for us to tell people thank you, just make a video of it.
It would be easier
way wrong.
If we had a controlled amount of packages, but we don't. It's so many, and we'll get to it as soon as we can.
Diatomaceous earth and getting wet. Somebody had a question about it, saying, "Will the dew on the ground make it inactive?" Yeah, from what my understanding is, and everything I ever read about DE, is that once it gets wet, it's ineffective. Now it can dry out, and once it dries out, then it can be, it's back to where it was. But if it's wet, then it loses its special powers per se. So that's what makes it, in my opinion, not a great insecticide for the garden. Because you can sprinkle out there, you get the ground just holds moisture anyways, and to me, you just have to reapply it so much. So there's a lot of other organic insecticides and pesticides out there that are to me that are way, way, way more effective than diatomaceous earth. And I know there's people out there that are hardcore DE people that no matter what I say, they're going to tell me I'm wrong. But from my research, is that once DE gets wet, then it loses its effectiveness. But it can dry out and start working again.
Nuke.
All right. Nuke. Nuke. This one came up a lot. How come Moody has flies and Mildred doesn't? I have no idea. But Mildred has 0 flies on her.
She does not have any flies on her.
Maybe Moody's just too sweet.
Mildred likes animal crackers.
She does like animal crackers. We may have found a way. She is guiding, or she's guiding.
She's guiding.
There I go. I'm going to edit that out.
That's very southern of you.
She's getting better.
She's getting better.
And animal crackers are helping.
Animal crackers are helping. I was feeding the goats animal crackers the other day, and she was wanting one, but of course, she wasn't willing to fight the goats over them.
Yeah, that's the other thing is that the goats kind of push her around a little bit.
So Marycarl, you were editing a video, so Marycarl came into the pasture. She said, Mama, give me some animal crackers. So she put them in her pocket. I had the goats occupied, and Mildred was loving on Marycarl for animal crackers.
She was.
So that tells me that there is something out there that she will come to humans for.
Yep.
And that's
it's
animal crackers.
Animal crackers, that is kryptonite.
It is. And I was thrilled because I even took a picture of her feeding it to her.
Yes.
And she's come to me since then for animal crackers.
She's came to me, and she's got where she likes to lick, lick my hand and my left arm.
I hope she changes because I feel like such a failure. I feel like that.
I'm going to tell you, there was a comment. I read one comment.
I know, you told me.
And they said the same exact thing happened to them. As soon as the bottle was done, that calf was done with them.
Well, Katie's mama, Miss Mary Jane, Piper's grandmother, and Mr. Steve have yet raised cattle all their life. Miss Mary Jane has nursed so many cows with a bottle due to whatever happened to the mom or, twins, whatever. She told me out of everyone that she has ever fed with a bottle, she has only had one that's had something to do with her after the bottle was finished.
And it could be the breed, too.
It may be, but she said that she had only ever had one. So she told me, don't beat yourself up about it. But I felt like I had me a cow, and she was... I could have let her on a leash, and she proved me wrong. She proved me wrong. But
she proved you wrong.
I'm not giving up.
No.
I'm not giving up. But I don't think I'm going to get a halter on her.
No, I don't think so either. And, a lot of people, the halters scare me. They really do.
Too.
The halters scare me because we had horses.
Yeah.
And we had people that had, we know horse people, and we were actually horse people. And... So you're always told don't leave the halter on the horse because if they got their face caught in something, or their head caught in something, it could really do some damage. And I feel the same way about the cow too. I really do.
Yeah, I do too, Jason. I really do. I feel like
would it make things easier?
Oh,
absolutely.
But
if something were to happen to one of them because I left the halter on there because that would made it more convenient for me, then I would just beat myself up. I never would forgive myself.
And they do look pretty with it on there.
They
but
do.
There again, you can't put looks above their safety.
Yeah.
And some people may say that nothing will ever happen. I assure
you,
I've had a halter on mine for 25 years.
Right.
But that's you. Yeah. And it doesn't ease my mind to know that somebody else was okay.
I would worry myself sick about it all the time.
So we don't anticipate putting halters on either one of our bovines. Any one of our bovines.
Our cattle.
Now, maybe one day you might see me walking Mildred down the road on a leash with a halter on, but I guarantee you it'll come back off when she gets back to her pasture.
They just worry me. They really do worry me.
Not something we're going to leave on.
No.
And the goat's collars are breakaway collars, y'all.
Yes.
It's like a cat having a collar.
Yes.
It's just a little plastic link that can come apart. And
I don't think they would work on the cows.
I don't think so either.
They would break very easily.
I think Mildred's trying to get away from feeling like a goat, to
She
be honest
probably
with
is.
you.
She might be.
For the longest time,
Yeah.
she wanted to be like them,
Yep.
but now she's like, psh,
She's
I'm a
I'm
bovine.
I'm a
not.
cow.
I'm a bovine. I am
That's right.
not a goat.
I'm not a goat.
Not a ruminant. Well, I am
She's
a ruminant. No
Mo-
matter what, she's a ruminant.
Moody's ball. Moody's ball. It got those balls get where it's got a little plastic valve that goes down in it, and that's what keeps the air in it. And we would go out there, the ball's flat. I'd go get it. That little plastic valve would be missing or come out, and I'd go find it, put it back in there, pump the ball back up, throw it back out there. Day or two later, it's flat again. The valve's out of it. I don't know why. I don't know if Moody is just he's bigger because the balls are for a horse.
Moody's bigger than a horse.
I don't know if that. I just don't know why it kept coming out. I don't know. I mean, that's why Moody's ball is not out there. I honestly, it got where, we were going out there and getting it every single day.
Yeah.
And that ball takes a long time to pump up.
It does.
I mean,
It does.
a long time.
It really does. They give you this little.
And I could do it with the air compressor, but it got where it was only lasting, and probably not even a day. Not even a day. And he got where he kind of got disinterested in it, too. He got where he didn't even play with it anymore. The first few times he saw it, it was great. I guess it's like anything with a kid or whatever. They just,
so
he
Moody's
loses
a kid, huh?
Yeah, well, he's 2, so I guess he's still a kid.
Yeah, you're right.
It loses its newness, and so therefore, it's not super cool anymore.
Marycarl was comparing pigeons to a 3-year-old the other day.
Was she?
She said that their intelligence level is like that of a 3-year-old.
A pigeon?
They're pretty darn smart.
I didn't know that. I had no idea a pigeon was that
She's
smart.
going to school you one day, boy.
She is. She's going to school me. She sure will.
So, well, I guess this means that we will be back on Saturday or Sunday, whichever time allows for.
Yes.
Y'all, please forgive us for having too many irons in our fire. We do the best we can, and we will try to get to a gift opening. We just, we do the best we can.
That's right.
And that's all we can say.
That's it. That's all I can say.
I want to go cut grass.
You can go cut grass. I'm going to go check on
the house.
And
Yeah.
I'm going to go check on the greenhouse. I think it may be too hot in there. I need to roll the sides up. So.
Oh, some people said that we didn't need to put that plastic on there. It's too hot to be putting that plastic on there. Well, the plastic goes on there no matter what time of the year it is.
Yeah, that's
you
the whole
just
greenhouse.
put the shade cloth on top of it.
Which I did.
And I don't think they understood that. I think they thought you don't put the plastic on there when
And it's got roll-up sides.
summertime, but I don't know. Just so you know, we put a shade cloth on it.
Yeah. And there were some people that was questioning us using the plastic, but
Yeah, that's what I meant. They were like, you don't put that kind of poly on there.
and this has come from a greenhouse company, and every greenhouse, I mean, Daniel Arms has got plastic on it, Roots and Refuge has got plastic on it, Living Traditions has got plastic on it, Deep South Homestead's plastic.
Never seen a greenhouse that didn't have plastic.
Unless it's one of those fancy dancy ones,
Well, this one's functional.
I mean, this one's fancy dancy to
It's
me.
fancy dancy and functional, right?
Love it. I absolutely love it.
Yes.
I mean, there's so much room in there. I'm like, oh my gracious, this thing's huge.
I saw you and Marycarl had some card tables set up.
We
in
did.
there. I have a feeling you're going to send me on a card table run soon.
Probably. I could build the tables, but
I can
y'all
go buy the card tables cheaper than you can build it.
Buy those plastic 10-foot card tables way cheaper than you can build
Lumber.
one now. Because lumber's so crazy.
It is. Maybe one day will be a work in progress when we
Yeah.
have time to
Right.
sit around and build greenhouse tables. But right now we don't have time.
Do not have time at all.
So going to buy them is wonderful.
Also do want to say, too, so some people don't think they're
I just thought of something,
crazy
too.
and missed out, but our newsletter didn't go out last week. So just want to make sure that y'all knew that you didn't miss it or anything like that, but our newsletter didn't go out last week, but it will be out this week.
Okay, I wanted to address the window situation in the loft.
Oh, yes, I meant to bring that up, too. A lot of people were saying we needed to get another window and put 2 windows up. Is that what you're going to talk
yes,
about?
sir.
Well, that would be awesome, but windows take 3 to 8 months to come in.
Well, some people were saying, why don't you frame it out and leave that open and open?
Ooh, Couldn't do that either.
And then come back. Well, we couldn't do that because, and they were thinking put plastic on it or whatever.
He has to cut out. He has to put that metal trim that goes on first.
Brant wouldn't want to come back here in 6 months and put that.
You'd have to take all the metal off and then put the window in, then trim the window back on, and then put the metal back on again. And there's just, I don't see that happening at all. That would be way too much. But the one window in offset does not look bad at all.
It doesn't. And I'm kind of like an OCD kind of person.
Yeah.
I recognize things when they're not right and when they're off. And even looking at it from outside, the back side of the house, it does not draw my attention as to, hey, that looks funny.
It doesn't.
I don't feel that way.
It's such a big area, for one. And growing up as a kid, we lived in town, and there was this cute little house. I just remember it plain as day. And it had an offset window like that was like a bedroom up in the attic that like they made extra. And it was just so cool. And I just remember it, and for some reason that sticks in my mind with this. I don't know why. And to me it looks good.
It's fine.
It does. It looks really, really good.
I think it's more important for us to have that additional light in there from the inside than it is to notice that it's a little bit off.
Plus, nobody's going to see the back of that house anyway.
Nobody's going to see it. Except the deer and the turkeys that wander in the woods.
That's right.
If they want to talk about it, nuke them. Cabinet guy didn't message me. I'm sorry. I was looking at my phone.
Okay.
Just checking messages. I don't normally do that. But
right.
We are hopefully back on a regular schedule. I don't plan on getting sick ever again. And neither does Jason. So.
That's right. No more sicknesses.
No more sicknesses.
So we'll catch you guys on the next episode of the Cogcast Podcast. Y'all be good.
Well, it's another one in the books for the Cog Hill 40. Join us again next week for our next edition of the Cog Hill Podcast. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok.